show at utsports.com. Mike G. We are the Fall Network. Get your New Year's Eve fireworks at Davenport Fireworks, where everything is half price. Everything. Davenport Fireworks, located on Dalton Pike at the state line. Everything is half price. Happy New Year from Davenport Fireworks. Hey, Andy Morris here. Join me along with my co-host on The Drive, presented by Hardees, weekdays at 5 p.m. on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. Cleveland and Bradley County's local sports show, weekdays at 5 on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. From the Kia of Cleveland Studios, this is ESPN Cleveland 101.3, WCLE HD2 Cleveland, W267BI Cleveland, ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
The top of the hour is presented by Best Buy Metals, making the top of your house the best it can be. Visit bestbuymetalroofing.com.
It's time for The Drive on ESPN Cleveland 101.3, presented by Hardees. We will bring you non-stop sports news from the national and local scene and everything in between. So buckle up and join in on the conversation. It's The Drive. Welcome back into The Drive here on ESPN Cleveland. I hope everyone out there is having a good Thursday here at the studios. And Jacob, I don't know if you've been paying attention. Obviously on Mix the last 2 weeks, we've been doing the empty stocking fund. And brother, we're killing it as far as all the funds we've raised. We're over $190,000 so far. So, man, that just goes to show you what a giving community that Cleveland, Tennessee is.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I knew that we were doing it. You know, I wasn't much on the socials in the past couple of weeks, just being at the hospital with the little one. But I did know that we were doing it. But that's so awesome to hear, man. This is a great community. You know, we joke around when we were all younger, like we all said, oh, we're going to get out of Cleveland and we're going to go to this school and go to that school. And then everybody ends up settling back here because it's just such a great place to live. It's a great place to raise a family. It's just a wonderful town.
It is, and I have moved away, and I moved back. It's a darn good place to live. I'll promise you, I've lived all over the United States. I have lived in the Midwest, out on the West Coast, down in Florida, Georgia, Oklahoma. I've lived all over. East Tennessee, man, is where it's at. I'm telling you, I love it here, and I think, you know, Bradley County, I'm very, very biased towards us, but just this general vicinity of the country, to me, we've got everything that you ever want. We're not that far from the ocean. We're not. But we're right here, and we've got 4 seasons, and it's not that bad in the wintertime. But anyway, so we're doing a great job as far as the empty stocking fund, and then we'll wrap all that stuff up tomorrow, although people can still give even after that. But we're excited about everything that's going on here in Cleveland. Now, let's shift gears a little bit. By the way, my name is Jim Dunn. This is Jacob. Andy's not here today, but we are going to be broadcasting live at Bradley Central High School tomorrow for some big high school basketball.
Yeah, it started off as just like a little joke you threw out
there. I threw it out there as a joke.
And we sat here and said, well, why don't we do that? You know, that'd be good to get out amongst the people and get to broadcast live there from Bradley High School for the Bradley-Cleveland game, and it doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, there's nothing I love more than I love Bradley's gym. I do Jim Smithy Arena. I just love it. I do. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting, and there's going to be a lot of great action on the floor tomorrow night for sure.
You're a Cleveland High School student. Let me ask you this: do you ever feel like when I was at Cleveland High School, I feel like we could not beat Bradley at Cleveland, and I feel like Bradley could not beat us at Bradley. It felt like the road team always won that game. It was very interesting.
The Dome was there when you went there.
Oh yeah, the Dome, which obviously their new gym is
it's awesome.
The standard in the state.
Yeah.
But that Dome, and I loved they put the student section back under the goal. Like
that is so cool.
When they moved it, I was like, dude, this just doesn't even feel right. It just felt different. And so then putting that right back under the goal just kind of brought that, you know. And what was really neat when I was in high school there, we made the state tournament, and the student section was on one side, but they had visitor section on the other. And the football team was in one, and the wrestling team was in the other, and then the students were in the typical student section. So it didn't matter what side of the court you went to when the state playoffs was around and we were hosting games. Dude, it was a ruckus environment.
Yeah, so we're excited. We're going to be out there tomorrow doing the drive, so we're excited about that. And Andy's going to be there with us. Now, let's get into what's really dominating the sports world again. And by the way, Notre Dame football's got to be loving this because they're no longer in the spotlight, although there's some things still going on about them, and we're going to get into that. The rumors out there that some schools and some conferences are going to try to, what's the word I'm looking for? Scale back, freeze out. Yeah, freeze out Notre Dame as far as scheduling. I don't know if that's doable, but we'll get into that. But let's start off with what really happened yesterday. This broke just as we were coming on the air that Michigan had fired Sharon Moore, basically because he did something he wasn't supposed to do. He was having a relationship outside of his marriage with a staff member, and that's all we knew this time yesterday. Well, obviously a lot of stuff happened after that. By the way, he remains in custody as a suspect in an alleged assault. He's expected to appear in court for an arraignment on Friday. And it went from, oh my gosh, I can't believe he did something like this, to, oh my gosh, I can't believe he did that. It really became a serious situation.
Yeah, it went from like something we, as football and X and, like we made light of, and then it got to be really sad really quick. There's allegations that he broke into that staffer's house and held a knife to his own throat, all kinds of stuff. And again, all allegations, we're going to find out more in the coming days. Something that also was released is Michigan knew that he was dealing with some mental health issues due to all of this, and they didn't have an HR person when he was fired, to kind of talk to him. And so, and again,
there's rumors that Warren Manuel might lose his job over this.
Yeah. And
he's the AD, by the way.
Well, and I'll be honest, it'll be interesting to see how loyal Moore is to the university, because I'm sure there's some things that you could drag up from 2023 that were not found.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there's no doubt. And listen, that's so funny to bring that up, because I've got some questions I want to ask you. I'll start with that one. I'll say, how does this reflect on Jim Harbaugh's era now? We all know that he has a show call. It's a 10-year show call. So he can't coach in college football.
I can tell you. Let me pull up something that I liked on Twitter today. Staffers arrested since Harbaugh hired. Robinson DUI, Steve Plickscale DUI, Matt Weiss had some allegations dealing with sexual nature as well. Greg Scruggs DUI, Connolly DUI, punching a police officer and biting a hospital staff.
Oh my gosh.
There were 7 staffers off of that had some kind of issue. And so, the whole Michigan man standard, to me, Michigan fans probably hate me. I doubt there's a Michigan fan out there that listens to the show because of all the slander that I've given them since 2023. But man, what a rough run. We're gonna get mad at Georgia fans, Georgia players, like 18-year-olds for driving fast, but we're not gonna hold Michigan adults to the standard.
Here's what I think Michigan needs to do. They need to blow it up and start over. I'm serious. When Sharon Moore was named the head coach, I'm like, what are you doing? He was part of this problem too. He was part of the issue as far as the sign stealing. So he was in on it. And I'm like, I don't get this. It didn't make any sense to me. And now it's blown up in Michigan's face. To me, Michigan, the best thing you could, and listen, Michigan is a great school, and they could get it turned around very quick with the right type of coaches. Because with the transfer portal, kids would be itching to play if they get the right people in there. They've got to do it right this time. And they don't need to hire from within. They need to get rid of just literally the entire coaching staff and the entire administration, start from scratch, and go from there, in my opinion.
Let's just be honest, this is the biggest Michigan scandal since the last Michigan scandal.
Which was just 2 years ago.
it's been the biggest. They've been in the headlines really since 2023 of the big marquee bad things to happen since they won a national championship. And again, like if you're a fan like me, that national championship has an asterisk right next to it, just like the Houston Astros had back when they won theirs in was it 2014?
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously this stuff came out in the middle of the 2023 season, so I honestly believe that towards the latter part of 2023 and into the playoffs, I don't think they were cheating then, but the fact that they were the prior earlier in that year still stains, and I can't believe they didn't have to vacate those games.
Not only that, but like there was, I sent you and Andy a thing of a guy, the same guy who broke the Mateer betting stuff.
Oklahoma's
The burner account broke this on December 1st, before National Signing Day. And so Michigan knew what they were doing. Michigan knew that they were going to end up firing this guy, but they wanted to secure their class. And now they've got kids that are saying like,
they can still transfer when the portal opens.
They can, but some of them are asking to not have to go through that process and then just waive their,
I got the letters mixed up. National letter of intent and what they signed. Yeah. So and then they do that.
Well,
they may do that.
I think it's once they hire a new coach, or maybe it's like the official date they fire him. There's like a 15-day window that opens up.
Yeah.
And big news to watch with Michigan. Bryce Underwood.
That's the one. That was my next one.
He doesn't have a buyout clause. They're like Damian Wilson, who went to Georgia. Georgia needed pass rushers this year. We've come on late, but he was a big name that was going to be a pass rusher for us. He left, and the University of Georgia is suing him because he had a buyout clause.
That's right.
And he never paid it. And so, big news that people went over that contract with Bryce Underwood, and he does not have a buyout clause. So that their team is watching, like Bryce Underwood's team, I guess his family and his representatives are watching closely to see who this next hire is going to be.
And that's the thing. Let's say Michigan gets a really good hire. Let's take it for granted that they hit a home run, or at least a triple. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They get a guy that everyone respects, and they think he runs a good he runs it the right way. Bryce Underwood could still, he could still leave, or he could stay. Either way, there are other quarterbacks that are going to enter the transfer portal. I'm fairly confident that Michigan's going to have a quality football team in 2026. I don't know if they'll have a national championship type program, but I don't think they're going to be like, a 3-9 team. I think they're going to be competitive because it's Michigan. Usually you have, especially in this day and where you got NIL money out there, you could see a quick turnaround with a lot of new faces there in Ann Arbor with the right coach. So it's one of those things, I guess we got to wait and see. But you're right, this has become an ongoing issue. And, if I was a Michigan fan, I'd be extremely embarrassed because you don't want, it's bad enough what happened with the sign stealing. That was bad enough. But then this is even worse.
Well, and if I'm a Michigan fan, I'm legit worried because of how they handled this firing that Moore doesn't just burn it to the ground. Like, you know that a lot of those staffers were pretty loyal. Like, they won a national championship. They didn't want bad things to happen to that team or their accolades. But it would not be shocking to me because of how Michigan handled this that if he does get into trouble and he gets in trouble with the NCAA, that he doesn't cooperate with further investigations about it.
Wasn't he alleged to have had a burner phone himself, Sharon Moore, during all this stuff? It seemed like he did. It seemed like that he, either tried to delete everything or he threw his burner phone away. Somehow he was caught up in all this stuff, and everyone knows it. But man, this is a situation that I think it deserves to give. I'm going to be interested in what happens tomorrow when he's arraigned. So anyway, we'll I guess we'll talk about that tomorrow. But I do want to change gears a little bit. I'm going to sound a little bit like Andy. Man, the Atlanta Braves have made some big time moves in the last day and a half.
They've made some moves. That's for sure.
To me, the biggest thing the Atlanta Braves have done was not getting Mike Yastrzemski, which I think that's a good deal there, but getting Robert Suarez from San Diego they're spending big-time money, and we all know this was an area they had to improve on. The closer role, and I know that Iglesias at times had his good moments, but he's not the pitcher he once was. Getting Suarez is a huge get for the Atlanta Braves.
Well, if you can add a guy like Suarez that takes pressure off Iglesias, it allows him,
he'll be more of a setup guy.
It allows him to be a setup guy or a guy that when you have a game in control, that he can go out there and close games out for you. But, we're talking about they're the number 2 and 3 relief pitchers, like in that, I'm pretty sure in that division.
Yeah. And so, obviously, Iglesias can still close a game. Let's say Suarez closes 2 games in a row, and he just can't go again. You've got a good option in Iglesias. So, I think this was a huge get for the Atlanta Braves. And Yastrzemski, I couldn't believe when I read this. He's 35 years old. I still think of him as like a 25-year-old.
Yeah.
I'm like, how long's he been in the big leagues? Of course, I remember, his granddad, Carl Yastrzemski, with the Red Sox. But I think this is a good addition to the Atlanta Braves. Last year hit 233 with 17 homers and 46 RBIs, and with the Giants and the Royals. So having a guy like that adds depth. I don't know if he's a guy that's going to start every day. I think he's going to go. I think he's going to be a valuable piece to the Atlanta Braves. Let's just put that way.
Yeah, I definitely think so as well. And you've got to have it out there. And we've talked about it on the show for a long time. Like, Ronnie Baseball is really special in the outfield. But, like, how much longer is he going to be in the outfield? Like, how much longer do you think Ronnie Baseball is going to, like, how long are they going to allow him?
I still remember that throw from right field throwing that guy out at third base. He's got the talent. He's still young. I think he's still going to be a guy that you're going to see play in the outfield for a number of years. At the end of his career, maybe he'll move to first base or as a DH or something.
The problem is he can't stay healthy.
That's the key. If he could just stay healthy, he could be winning multiple MVP.
Which signing a guy like this allows you to get him rest. It allows to put him in the DH spot and maybe take some reps off the knees and things like that. So
Ronald Acuna is 100%. He's top 3 or 4 players in all Major League Baseball.
Yeah,
there's just no doubt. But you're right. Over the last 3 or 4 years, it's just one nagging thing, or it's a major injury has really cost him. It's probably cost him a good 2 years on his career.
It's crazy to think that the Braves won a World Series basically without him.
But they did win it without him. He did not play in the World Series.
He didn't play it, but I'm just saying, like, he was a part of that team.
I know he was, but
they won the World Series portion without him. But he helped them get there.
Yeah, he definitely helped them get there. But he did not have an at-bat in that World Series.
No, and old pros Jock Peterson coming in to save the day during that one. So
yeah, the 2021 World Series was one of those ones where it seemed like different guys were stepping up and being a hero for the Braves during that postseason. And so that was a magical World Series if you're an Atlanta Braves fan, no doubt about that. Let's go ahead and take our first break. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about the Bulls and a troubling trend going on in the Bulls. You're listening to The Drive here on ESPN Cleveland. We'll be back after this. The Drive will be back after a quick timeout. Stay tuned for more non-stop sports talk on The Drive, presented by Hardees. Right now, someone in a Hardees kitchen is about to warm up your winter with the new grilled cheese bacon burger. Charbed, 100% Angus beef, bacon, Swiss and American cheese melting on a soft buttery sourdough. And our new grilled cheese breakfast sandwich with sausage or bacon and a fried egg. Cozy up to the goodness of the new grilled cheese bacon burger and breakfast sandwich. For a limited time, only at Hardees. Cinnamon rolls and biscuits are back. Unwrap them while you can. Only for a limited time at participating restaurants. Get your New Year's Eve fireworks at Davenport Fireworks, where everything is half price. Everything. Davenport Fireworks, located on Dalton Pike at the state line. Everything is half price. Happy New Year from Davenport Fireworks. Did you twist an ankle? Hurt your shoulder? Or maybe that weekend project left you with more than sore muscles? Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics is here to help. Our urgent ortho walk-in clinic in Cleveland is open Monday through Saturday, treating sprains, strains, fractures, and more. No appointment needed. There's no need to drive to Chattanooga for expert orthopedic care. Call, schedule it online, or walk in today and get back to moving pain-free. Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. The Center for expert care right when you need it. ESPN Cleveland 101.3 is powered by Duracell.
I'm Dr. James Gooden. The staff and I at Milligan Van would like to wish you and your family a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
When the road gets tough, make sure your ride is ready. At Cleveland Tire Center on Northley Highway. They keep you rolling with the best brands, expert installation, and prices that fit every budget. Whether you need new tires, a quick rotation, or a full alignment, their certified team delivers fast, friendly service you can trust. Stop in today and feel the difference that quality makes. Cleveland Tire Center. Locally owned, dependable, and always ready to get you back on the road. Cleveland Tire Center. 4695 Northley Highway, Cleveland, at the main center. No more varicose or spider veins. No more tired, achy, restless legs. No more restless nights. Start your journey to a better you with help from Milligan Vein Clinic. Their board-certified physicians have treated thousands of patients using the latest technologies to restore healthy, great-looking legs. There's little or no downtime, and your procedure is covered by most insurance. Milligan Vein Clinic, improving the quality of your life. Visit milliganvein.com or call Dr. James Gooden today at 423-961-5682. Get your New Year's Eve fireworks at Davenport Fireworks, where everything is half price. Everything. Davenport Fireworks, located on Dalton Pike at the state line. Everything is half price. Happy New Year from Davenport Fireworks. Welcome back to The Drive, presented by Hardees. Join the conversation. Text 423-749-1013. You can also listen anywhere on our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com. Duracell in Cleveland is now hiring mechanical skilled technicians, $22 to $27 per hour. Excellent benefits beginning day one. Medical, dental, vision insurance, paid vacation, holiday pay, 401k, tuition reimbursement, and more. Apply now at Duracell.com. That's Duracell.com. And you're listening to The Drive here on ESPN Cleveland. I hope everyone out there is having a good Thursday. I'm Jim Dunn. Got Jacob Mason sitting right here with me, talking a little bit of college football now, after talking about the Braves and everything. I'm sure Andy just loves the fact that I brought up the Atlanta Braves. Yeah, without him being here.
I'll be honest, I don't know why Andy's always such in a bad mood on this show. His headphones are super comfy. He's got a really comfy chair over here. You would think that he's like just super uncomfortable or something in the seat, but I'm feeling pretty good over here in his chair.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit about the Bowls. We've got a bowl game coming up this weekend, but we're going to transition also into the Notre Dame situation with that, however you want to phrase it, that they, declined the bowl bid. But I saw this news today. The LA Bowl, sponsored by Gronk, by the way. Rob Gronkowski's a big, partial sponsor of this bowl game. Washington is playing Boise State. After this bowl game, it's folding up. They're going out of business. This is the second bowl game that will go bye-bye this year. Earlier in the year, back in the fall, well, I guess technically it is still fall, but earlier this fall, the Bahamas Bowl folded up. So that's going to be two bowl games that are just going away. And we all know that there's been bowl games that have come and gone over the years. I'm going to throw a few out there, see how many of these you recollect, Jacob. The All-American Bowl, you remember that? Mm-hmm. That was in Birmingham. The Aloha Bowl, obviously in Hawaii. The Bluebonnet Bowl was in Houston for a long time in the Astrodome. The California Bowl was played on the campus of either San Jose State or Fresno State. I can't remember which one. Remember the Cherry Bowl? You probably don't remember this. It's played in Detroit at the Silverdome. The Freedom Bowl was played in Anaheim, at Anaheim Stadium where the Angels play. The Garden State Bowl, that was up there at Giant Stadium in New Jersey, prior to them building MetLife Stadium. You had the Houston Bowl, which obviously that transitioned to the FurnitureGallery.com Bowl, and then those were there, but the Texas Bowl took their spot. The International Bowl, you remember that? Yeah, that was in Toronto at the those. Now, some of those were 5 and 7 teams, and they said it would have been difficult to get the team back together, blah, blah, blah. I don't buy that. You get your team back together if you want. It was a choice they made. But you had 3 teams with winning records that opted out of those. Obviously, Notre Dame, they were sitting there at 10 and 2. You had Iowa State, and you had Kansas State. Now, their excuses was the coaching transition.
Coaching changes, yeah.
And I get that. Kansas State's coach retired. Iowa State's coach, he's taking the Penn State job. So you'd have to have an interim coach. But interim coaches have been doing bowl games forever.
Yeah, when Georgia fired Mark Richt, they had an interim coach and went and played the bowl game, and I believe they won it.
Yeah, there's tons of interim coaches.
The problem is bowl season has lost its luster.
It has really lost it.
I have an idea how to fix it. And when I say that I literally have thought no further than the past 45 seconds, I'm not kidding. This is
coming right off the top of your head.
This is coming right off the rip. And I've had this thought before, but not to this, depth. Have bowl season start the same week that your SEC championship, your Big Ten championship, ACC championship, whatever, and have playing games with some of these top teams. So instead of giving an automatic bid to JMU, instead of giving an automatic bid to Tulane,
have them play each other.
well, I wouldn't even say each other. Have the top 20, 24 teams play a playing game to where you get the 16 best teams or the 16 teams. Vanderbilt wouldn't be sitting at home and saying, well, we're 10 and 2. You would have got to go play Miami and said, we're better than Miami or Miami's better than us. One of the two of us are down.
So in your idea, does the SEC, the Big Ten, the Big 12 championship game, are they still around? Do they still exist?
Yes.
So you're still getting the top 2 teams in the SEC playing the SEC championship game, but you're getting teams 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 maybe playing in minor bowls. At the end, they get an invitation.
The Music City Bowl could be like a playing game. Instead of like
Tennessee and Illinois.
Yeah, it could be a game that you're meeting at a neutral site and you're playing
Tennessee playing Missouri.
Yes, to get into, or let's for argument's sake, let's put like a Big Ten school and like Tennessee, let's say Penn State wasn't as terrible.
Okay, so you're saying teams from other leagues playing each other.
Yes, or just like in the same way that you would rank, like a bracket style, like these teams that are fighting for those last couple of spots, don't let the committee decide. Have a playing game. Do the same thing like the 64 tournament when you have like those seeds at the very end that have to play a playing game.
They're playing they're on that Tuesday and Wednesday night.
So your conference champions are going to get your automatic bid like they normally do, but then everybody else is playing for a spot in the championship.
So the loser of the SEC championship game, they're guaranteed also.
Yes.
So the loser of the Big Ten, the SEC, Big 12, and the ACC, they're guaranteed a spot.
Unless you run into a situation like Duke, like I still think there has to be.
So if you got Duke in the ACC championship game, it would have been better for them to have played a playing game.
Yeah.
See, that somehow you got to fix that problem.
Yeah.
So where it's advantageous to be in a playing game instead of the conference championship.
But you could save some of these bowl games that are starting to go to the wayside because we all know that the Orange Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, the Rose Bowl, like all these are here to stay.
The big ones.
They're here to stay. And with us expanding, we're going to get a few more. But you could save even more by starting bowl season during championship week, and these teams are playing a bowl game at a neutral site to play their way into the college football.
And see, to me, the college football playoffs should start this coming weekend. They should be playing this weekend.
Yeah.
They're not. Nobody's playing this week except Army, Navy, and the LA Bowl.
Well, and don't you think that it's a little unfair that, for instance, that like Alabama, and again, Andy may roll over if he's listening to the show right now, but Alabama's really injured. I mean, Ty Simpson is rumored to be out with back problems.
Another running back situation's
We talked about Carson Beck last year in the SEC championship. There's teams that are playing games that other people are not having to play. Like,
and they're getting beat up.
And they're getting beat up. Like, you look at sit at home and rest and watch it. So now not only are you still getting, is the championship game valuable? It's still incredibly valuable because you're going to have a guaranteed spot. You're going to, like, your seeding can improve, but then you're making these other teams who are not playing have the same amount of games that you are going to play.
Yeah.
And so I feel like there's a way to save bowl season, the play-ins. And again, this is just a thought that I'm having right now. So I don't have details. I don't have, like, how it would work logistically. But I just think that it still incentivizes making it to your conference championship game. The conferences still get to make money, but then places like the Music City Bowl, could you imagine how much more exciting a Music City Bowl would be when it has, like,
Something on the line.
something on the line for
Other than a trophy.
you know that these bowl games, and I'm sure they've had this idea too, but you know they're probably itching at the neck saying, please give us a reason to host an event and make money where eager fan bases want to come.
Did you watch the Big Ten championship game?
A little bit.
Okay. There's a guy, defensive end, his name is Stephen Bailey. He was a real problem for Ohio State. He's out for the playoffs. Guess what? Got hurt in the Big Ten championship game. And you're right, stuff like that happened, just like what happened to Carson Beck last year.
Yeah. And these teams that, like, they're saying, like, and Kirby Smart's right. Like, you never want to run from it. If you're scared, if you're scared, go to church. Like, you need to want to play football. But at the end of the day, these teams that are going to play in championship games are adding an additional game to their schedule, allowing for opportunity that other teams are not having to play.
Think about this. A good point you made there. Because listen to this. Like in the NFL, the top seeds, they play fewer postseason games, not more.
Yeah.
In the Big Ten, the SEC, ACC, Big 12, the top two teams are playing more games because they're playing that championship game.
Yeah.
Whereas the top seed in the NFL, in the AFC, top team in the AFC and the NFC, they get a bye into the second weekend of the playoffs.
Yeah, and
that should be a reward.
if you win it, you get a bye, but, like, the consequence for losing a championship game is huge.
It is very huge.
Not from the you're going to drop out of the playoff standpoints, but you just played an extra game and now you got to go play again, potentially on
Now,
the
Ohio State's the exception this year. They lost the Big Ten, but there are only two undefeated teams when they have it. That was almost an easy one to predict.
Yeah.
What if Indiana had beat Ohio State 50-3?
Yeah.
I bet you Ohio State don't get the bye then. I bet you they're the 5 or 6 seed.
Oregon would have been the 4 seed, Georgia would have been the 2, because Oregon lost to Indiana by 10 points. So, yeah, I could definitely see it happening. I just think that there is a world where we can still reward teams for winning a conference. Like, winning a conference still means something.
That's the thing I hope that never goes away. Is the fact that I hear people say, gosh, it'd be better off not to play in the SEC championship game than playing it. I'm like, no, that should never be an advantage.
Yeah.
And yet it is.
It is, and that's how I felt. Like, selfishly, like, Kirby Smart was one of the people that, I was one of the people that he was calling out. Like, what is the, outside of the fact, like, as a Georgia fan, I'm glad we did it. We finally got to beat Alabama in pretty convincing fashion. Like, that's good for me, but, like, at the end of the day, you risk getting hurt when teams like Oregon, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Miami, none of these teams played a game last week.
Yeah, you're right.
And so,
Sit and rest.
so you can add games, take some of these like the Pop-Tart Bowl, add the Pop-Tart Bowl as a playing game, and then maybe Notre Dame will actually want to play in it.
Well, they would have. I mean, there is no question about that. Nobody's going to opt out of the playoffs.
Right. And so
Nobody's going to do that.
you have a play, and so that way we're also not getting, if Tulane wins that game and upsets somebody, heck yeah, Tulane's in the playoffs, and that's great, but just handing away 2 bids.
The fact that you've got James Madison and Tulane in there, but you don't have Notre Dame, you don't have Vanderbilt or Texas or USC, Utah, BYU. You're sitting there going, those teams are significantly better.
So you give them the shot that they desire, you give them the opportunity that they desire, and you have a plan. So I guess, would that be, if there are 12 spots, that would be 24 teams?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So all 24 teams, the top, so that's a,
If you had 32, if you
instance, we talked about how in Nashville they're building this big fancy stadium.
Yeah, and I know for a fact that the director of that Nashville Sports Council, or whatever they're called, he has visions of Nashville becoming a big-time player in the collegiate athletic world. We're talking about Final Fours. We're talking about national championship games in football, all sorts of things. He wants the Music City Bowl to become what the Peach Bowl became. Just 20 years ago, the Peach Bowl was just another bowl game.
Yeah,
And now they're a player now.
and so you have stadiums that are booked up on championship weekend, but you would have Vegas as an option. You would have LA as an option. Soon to be Nashville as an option.
Minneapolis, where they've got the Vikings play.
Arizona.
Yeah. That's Fiesta Bowl. That's where the Cardinals play. That's Fiesta.
But I mean, it'd be open on that weekend.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So like there are opportunities to play some of these neutral site games. I know we just went off on a tangent, but I genuinely think that could be a fix to our problem. You're getting a bunch of and maybe you do championship week and then the first round of those. And once championship dust is settled, you're able to seed them appropriately, and then the next weekend is like the play-in games, and then you start the playoffs right after.
Yeah. I tell you what, I saw this story not too terribly long ago. The very first college football playoff national championship game was played at AT&T Stadium where the Dallas Cowboys played. And obviously the Cotton Bows played there every year. Have you noticed you haven't seen AT&T Stadium host a national championship game since?
No, I haven't.
That's not by accident. Jerry Jones doesn't want it. He says that's reserved for Dallas Cowboys playing in the playoffs, NFL playoffs. He doesn't want to risk having a conflict. That's why they haven't bid for it. That's Jerry Jones being Jerry Jones.
That is Jerry Jones being Jerry Jones, since the fact that we've had Jalen Hurts live an entire life and win a Super Bowl since the last time the Cowboys had an opportunity to like Jalen Hurts has quite literally lived his entire life, gone to college, won a national championship, won a Super Bowl before the Dallas Cowboys have returned
to the Super Bowl. What year were you born?
93.
That was the last year Dallas won that Super Bowl.
Yeah. So I've lived
You're a babe.
Yeah.
You're just a babe in my book. Hey, let's go ahead and take a break. You're listening to The Drive on ESPN Cleveland. When we come back, we're going to talk a little hiring going on in Knoxville. This is The Drive on ESPN. We'll be back after this. The Drive will be back after a quick timeout. Stay tuned for more non-stop sports talk on The Drive, presented by Hardees.
This is Trading Clause at Kia Cleveland on South Lee Highway. We don't care if your old car is bad or good, naughty or nice. At Kia Cleveland, we will give you up to $8,000 over Kelly Blue Book market value. Listen up, boys and girls. Hundreds of new Kias have just arrived from the North Pole, and prices are so low, we can only show you in person. Is your credit on the naughty list? That's okay. The credit elves can make your Christmas wishes come true. Trade your old slave today, and Kia Cleveland will pay you up to $8,000 over Kelly Blue Book market value. That's right. Up to $8,000 more than any trade in any condition. And we'll buy your car for cash, even if you don't buy a car from us. Come see me, John Davis, Trading Clause, during the Kia season of New Tradition sales event at Kia Cleveland on South Lee Highway in beautiful Cleveland, Tennessee, where trading your car is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Negative trade up finance when you own subject to labor through it. Stars my thing.
Get your New Year's Eve fireworks at Davenport Fireworks, where everything is half price. Everything. Davenport Fireworks, located on Dalton Pike at the state line. Everything is half price. Happy New Year from Davenport Fireworks. Right now, someone in a Hardees kitchen is about to warm up your winter with the new grilled cheese bacon method. Charbed, 100% Angus beef, bacon, and Swiss and American cheese melting on a soft buttery sourdough. And our new grilled cheese breakfast sandwich with sausage or bacon and a fried egg. Cozy up to the goodness of the new grilled cheese bacon burger and breakfast sandwich. For a limited time, only at Hardees. Cinnamon rolls and biscuits are back. Unwrap them while you can. Only for a limited time at participating restaurants. Did you twist an ankle? Hurt your shoulder? Or maybe that weekend project left you with more than sore muscles? Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics is here to help. Our urgent ortho walk-in clinic in Cleveland is open Monday through Saturday, treating sprains, strains, fractures, and more. No appointment needed. There's no need to drive the Chattanooga for expert orthopedic care.
Schedule it online or walk in today and get back to moving pain-free. Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. The Center for Extra Care right when you need it. Cleveland, the all-new Select Flooring and Remodeling is now open at 5555 North Lee Highway. We carry the top flooring brands you know and trust. Mohawk, Shaw, Engineer Floors, and United Weavers. We also specialize in home remodeling and roofing, delivering quality you can count on. Take advantage of 24 months interest-free credit. Come see us Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and Saturday, 9 to 2. Call us today at 423-889-3007. That's Select Flooring and Remodeling, 5555 North Lee Highway, Cleveland. From the floors to the roof, we've got you covered. Check your wallet. Empty? Check your bills. Overdue? Check your stress level. Maxed? Now, check into cash. Check into Cash is your one-stop money shop, and we've got everything you need. Payday loans and flex lines of credit options? Check. Quick in-store services like money orders and wire transfers? Check. Turn your unused gift cards into cash? Oh yeah, check. And yes, we cash checks. All kinds. Fast. Check that off your list. Visit checkintocash.com or check into a store to get started. The process is simple, quick, and designed to get you the help you need fast. If you've been approved, you can leave with cash in hand. We have locations in the Chattanooga area, including Cleveland and Athens. Check in, cash out, and get on with life. Check into Cash. We fund today to make a better tomorrow. Subject to state regulations, eligibility, credit check, underwriting, and approval. Rates, restrictions, and fees apply. Visit the store for details. Then, when it comes to your health, don't cut corners. At Tennessee Valley Urology Center, they do men's health the right way. From prostate cancer screening and ED treatment to testosterone therapy and vasectomies, their board-certified urologists provide expert care that's personal, not pushy. TNValleyurology.com. Book your appointment today. Get your New Year's Eve fireworks at Davenport Fireworks, where everything is half price. Everything. Davenport Fireworks, located on Dalton Pike at the state line. Everything is half price. Happy New Year from Davenport Fireworks. Welcome back to The Drive, presented by Hardees. Join the conversation. Text 423-749-1013. You can also listen anywhere on our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com. For over 100 years, Mayfield Dairy has been delivering fresh and a farm fresh dairy beloved by Southern families. In 1983, Mayfield introduced its iconic yellow jug. The new opaque jug helps block harmful light rays, protecting the flavor and nutrients in milk. Learn more about Mayfield today at mayfielddairy.com. And you're listening to The Drive here on ESPN Cleveland. I'm Jim Gunn along with Jacob Mason. Andy is out today, but we will see him tomorrow. We're going to be at Bradley Central High School, broadcasting there from Jim Smithy Arena prior to CHS versus BCHS. So we're looking forward to that a lot. Okay, didn't get into this last segment, but I want to ask you this. There's been some scuttlebutt out there. By the way, before I get into this, we will be carrying the Atlanta Falcons and Tampa Bay Buccaneers game here on ESPN Cleveland. Pregame right at 6 o'clock, so that follows our show today. So there's been a lot of talk out there about some athletic directors out there threatening to nix Notre Dame from schedule due to the preferential playoff treatment that they're going to apparently be getting next year. Andy doesn't think they're getting preferential playoff treatment in 2025, but starting next year, apparently if Notre Dame's in the top 12, they're guaranteed a slot.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about this off air. Like, to be a Notre Dame fan, you got to have thick skin.
You have to, especially here in the South.
Because people are going to come after you. And, like, I'm kind of in the minority. Like, I don't dislike Notre Dame. I respect their tradition. You know, they were willing to come down to Athens, and we were willing to go up there, and they tried to schedule some big names. I think that people are tired of a narrative that was built, like Andy said, in the years where you played all three service academies and things such of that nature. And next year's schedule is not great, but they don't control, you know, who they schedule 10 years out.
And you never know who's going to be great, who's going to be down. I mean, obviously, there may be some teams that had a bad record this year. Next year may be flipped. They may do it a lot better next year.
So, all that to say, Notre Dame should have just kept the main thing, and argued that they were one of the best 12 teams in the country and kept their mouth shut about it. All of this PR, I feel like, is almost blowing back up in their face, and it's creating problems that people already had strong feelings about, but just kind of let it slide. They just let it go. Notre Dame's independent. They're different than everybody else, whatever. Now, you've got ADs that are up in arms about it, and potentially ruining what some consider to be a sweetheart deal. I don't know enough about it to really give my opinion on it. I think if we do what we just suggested with the playoff, with the bowls, it doesn't matter. Notre Dame would have to play in anyways.
Yeah. Here's my thing, and I'm going to go back to Texas, Ohio State. Texas lost to Ohio State. If they had played Ohio University instead of Ohio State, and they're sitting at 10-2, Texas may have got in. And listen, that Florida loss was horrible. Yeah. You can't undo that loss. But they would have had a lot better shot. Playing Notre Dame, to me, is risky, but, man, the reward is worth the risk. When Notre Dame comes in, first up, you're almost guaranteed to have a sellout. That's just the reality. And you're going to have a prime slot on television. That's just fact. That's just pretty much the norm. I don't think we're going to see teams band together and not schedule Notre Dame because Notre Dame brings too much to the table.
I don't think you'll see teams do it, but if you get enough pissed off ADs, it could happen. You only need 4, and you've got one in the Big 12. Obviously, they're saying that the relationship between Notre Dame and the ACC are up in arms. If the Big 10 feels like they can leverage this to get them to join their conference and bring that money into their conference, they may do it. So I don't know. I don't agree with it. I'm not saying that I like it. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm not saying that teams should do it. Could it happen? Could teams finally say, we're done with Notre Dame? If they win a national championship, they get a full $20 million, and the rest of us have to split it with our conferences. If they're done with all of that, then you may see athletic directors you try to throw their weight around, just like the SEC and the Big Ten have been throwing their weight around all summer.
Here's how I look at it. If you're Iowa State, you have a 62,000-seat stadium. You don't sell it out every Saturday. They sell it out for the big game. When Iowa comes in, it's sold out. Other than that, they probably average 45 to 50,000. There's a lot of, they've got 10,000 empty seats. If Notre Dame comes, it's sold out. Yeah. It's going to be sold out. That's the thing that, at the end of the day, the bottom line is making money. And if sacrificing a loss and not getting in the playoffs, but you add the money you made by playing a good non-conference team like Notre Dame, I think that's a risk most teams are willing to take. Especially if they expand it from 12 to 16.
I agree with you that teams are willing to take it. I agree with you that college...
You talk about conference commissioners. I thought you said ADs.
Well, sorry, yes.
Okay, when you said ADs, that's what I did. You're talking about conference commissioners.
Yes, if a school's AD isn't going to want that. Absolutely.
Yeah, but can a conference commissioner override what an AD wants as far as playing an opponent?
No, but you can put enough pressure on them to make their lives pretty difficult.
I don't know.
They control scheduling. They control a lot.
They do, but the non-conference games are usually pretty much that's the school's choice as who you play non-conference. Now the in-conference games, the conferences themselves has a lot to do with that. And listen, that's why when people complain about Texas A&M schedule, Texas A&M came up with that schedule. The Southeastern Conference office in Birmingham, Alabama, puts that schedule together. Yeah. And Texas A&M plays who the SEC says you're playing. Yeah. So it's the same way with every other league. Conference games, you have no choice in that. Now the non-conference, you have all the control over that. So when Indiana playing, every directional school out there, you have every right to complain about their schedule. But you can't complain when Indiana's playing, a bunch of teams with losing records in the Big Ten. Indiana has no control over that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting with all these teams that are taking on an additional conference game, like the SEC is going to be adding that ninth.
Yep.
How many of them are going to be willing to go out and schedule Notre Dame?
That's the thing. Well, I think the bigger schools will. I think your Alabamas, your Georgias, your Ohio States, your USC's, they will. Because they're
obviously not good enough for Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, think about it. They just had the best season
So
in their district.
odds are very good that had Vanderbilt played Notre Dame this year, I would have favored Notre Dame. Not to say that Diego probably couldn't have pulled out a rabbit out of his hat and won that game, but more often than not, Notre Dame's going to be heavily favored over Vanderbilt. Now, when Notre Dame plays Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, USC, it's 50-50. It's 50-50. They might win, they might lose. So the bigger schools are never going to be afraid to schedule Notre Dame. But if you're a bigger school, you also don't want to put so much taxing on your players. You want your players to have a breezy game where you only play the first half. Yeah. And you don't have to play. And with the 9-game schedule, and Georgia plays Georgia Tech every year.
Yeah, that's
so I can't imagine Georgia playing anyone other than Georgia Tech as far as a Power 4 school, because that gives you 10 power games every day, every year. So you've got two directional schools to choose from at that point.
Yeah. And, as it sits right now in 2026 and 2027, we have Florida State on the schedule. Will that stay?
I doubt it.
I doubt it.
I doubt that. And listen, the ACC's going to go to 9 conference games too. So Florida State's, they've got Florida.
Yeah.
Why would they want to play 9 ACC teams, Georgia, and Florida?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so it will be interesting with the landscape of college football changing if Notre Dame will have to eventually join a conference just out of the fact that teams don't want to play out of a lot of out-of-conference games, and Notre Dame is a formidable opponent.
Yeah, if it came to that point and Notre Dame was not able to schedule quality non-conference opponents, and all they're playing are the Rices and the UABs and the UTSAs and the South Floridas of the world, then Notre Dame's going to be going, guys, these aren't marketable games. Yeah. You can't market these games. So then Notre Dame would have it, but I don't think that's going to happen. But I do believe that Notre Dame can stay independent, but I could see them going to the SEC or Big Ten. It'd be one of those two. Yeah. So there's all the leagues that they would play they'd be a full member.
It's going to take conference commissioners really going out of their way to make it really difficult on Notre Dame. And I just don't know how many are they may be willing to get online and talk about it and be tough, like the Big 12 commissioner, and puff their chest out. But then when the money talks and Notre Dame comes to town and your stands are full and it's huge recruiting weekend for your school, I doubt seriously that many teams are going to care.
But listen, we got about a minute to go. I got to get your opinion. Tennessee hired Jim Knowles as their defensive coordinator. Jim Knowles was at Penn State this year. He was at Ohio State last year. He's been around the block a few times. I think it's a good hire for Tennessee.
Yeah, I think it's a good hire for Tennessee. The one thing that I've seen is Tennessee fans don't feel like his system would work, yada, yada, yada. It takes too much time. Good things take time.
That's right. Listen, if you want to be good, they worked for Ohio State last year.
Yeah.
I mean, is he the greatest defensive coordinator in the world? No, but he's far from the worst.
Yeah.
He's better than what you had.
Yeah. And so I think it's a good hire. Again, I wasn't huge on the firing of Tim Banks. I get why Tennessee fans wanted him gone.
Oh, did you see where he landed? Mm-hmm. He's the defensive backs coach at Auburn. It's a good fit for him down there.
Yeah.
That's what he's best at anyway.
Yeah.
Coaching defense backs.
Well, not at Tennessee.
Yeah.
But
anyway.
No, but I think it was a good hire. I do think it's an upgrade. Some of the shufflings, I don't know if you saw Chip Kelly is interviewing for the Georgia Tech OC job.
I think that'd be a great hire.
It would, and I think Florida knocked it out of the park with Buster Faulkner.
Yes, that was a good hire too.
As a Georgia fan, I text my Florida buddies. I said, I hate this, which means you should love this.
Yep, that's right.
So,
Andy, it's been fun. We got to get out of here a little early today in anticipation of the Falcons at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You've been listening to The Drive here on ESPN Cleveland. We'll see everyone at Bradley Central High School tomorrow at 5 o'clock.
Right now, someone in Hardees kitchen is about to warm up your winter with the new grilled cheese bacon burger. charbroiled, 100% Angus beef, bacon, and Swiss and American cheese melting on a soft buttery sourdough. And our new grilled cheese breakfast sandwich with sausage or bacon and a fried egg. Cozy up to the goodness of the new grilled cheese bacon burger and breakfast sandwich. For a limited time, only at Hardees. Cinnamon rolls and biscuits are back. Unwrap them while you can. Only for a limited time at participating restaurants. Get your New Year's Eve fireworks at Davenport Fireworks, where everything is half price. Everything. Davenport Fireworks, located on Dalton Pike at the state line. Everything is half price. Happy New Year from Davenport Fireworks.
This is Thomas Williams of Mountain View Nissan of Cleveland. Just wanted to wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. From all of our employees, hope you have the best holiday season. Check us out at cleveland-nissan.com.
When you need a new roof, it's all about trust. Your home is too big an investment and you can't afford to make a mistake. Cleveland Plywood has the products and expertise you're looking for. Contractors have trusted them for over 50 years, and they carry only proven products from reputable suppliers like IKO. IKO Cambridge is one of the heaviest weight asphalt shingles you can buy, and their limited warranties are among the industry's best. Protect the investment you've made in your home. Go with the pros at Cleveland Plywood, 2700 20th Street Northeast in Cleveland. Call 472-3357.
Did you twist an ankle? Hurt your shoulder? Or maybe that weekend project left you with more than sore muscles? Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics is here to help. Our urgent ortho walk-in clinic in Cleveland is open Monday through Saturday, treating sprains, strains, fractures, and more. No appointment needed. There's no need to drive the Chattanooga for expert orthopedic care. Call, schedule it online, or walk in today and get back to moving pain-free. Center for Sports Medicine.